Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. It is 7:07. It is 45 degrees, and it's rainy out, getting up to 65 today, Monday, March 28th. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310, News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. You can join the conversation at 732-505-1160, and our conversation now is with Nancy Orlando, Executive Director of the Jersey Coast Red Cross. Good morning.
Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
Oh, I am fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's always difficult to get up the day after a major holiday, right? Because yesterday was like there was like a whole family thing, and there's a lot going on.
And the sugar rush. Let's not forget the sugar rush. Right.
Now, are you a peep person? Like, will you eat peeps?
I do like peeps.
You
Small
do?
quantity peeps.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy peeps.
Well, nobody can eat a lot of peeps, right? Let's be honest.
Well, you could.
But that'd be bad. All right. Well, but we're totally off on the wrong track here. Let's bring it back and let's talk about the Red Cross. So, in my mind, I have this like Florence Nightingale like image of what the Red Cross is. Like I'm picturing like the battlefield and like the Red Cross is there like helping our wounded. And then I fast forward to like Sandy and and the unfortunate disasters, anything we have to deal with. That's what the Red Cross is all about. So my question for you is, like, we haven't had a natural disaster in a little while now. So what do you guys do day to day? I don't help everybody understand.
So I'm really glad you asked that question, because I think that folks think of the Red Cross, and they do think in the large-scale disasters. They think about Katrinas and Sandys, of course. But we respond to 70,000 disasters a year. 60,000 of those are home fires. So if you think about that, we're responding every 8 minutes to a house fire somewhere in the U.S. And I think that that's what folks really need to understand, is that just because you don't see us at a large-scale disaster, we've got trained volunteers that work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, that will get up much earlier than we are here this morning and go out to a house fire, and they will stay with that family until that family has someplace to go, has tools to get them back on their feet, and we'll follow up with that family as long as it takes.
Wow. So I guess I didn't realize, like, so there's like that's like what, 180 or something, so house fires a day?
Yeah. I mean, If you think about that, every 8 minutes. So while we're sitting here this morning, we will be responding to house fires.
Wow. Okay. And so so the American Red Cross is there for you. And so hurricanes, floods, tornadoes. Because I guess the other thing I think of is, what are the other 10,000 events? I mean, that's, we're talking about 30 different. I mean, so what do those look like? Those are from a natural disaster standpoint. Those are. I mean, give me some examples. So give me an example of something maybe in Ocean County or at the Jersey coast, which is what you deal with, since Sandy.
So think back just recently to the storm Jonas.
Okay.
Right. So we had flooding, and most folks did not see the extent of that flooding.
Right.
If you go down further south into, say, the Wildwood areas, they were completely flooded way past what you would have seen during Sandy. Just here in Ocean County, the geographic print is changing, so we have flooding in places we've never had flooding before, and that affects residents constantly. If you go down Route 37, the jug handle for Garfield Avenue now, you have to worry in a normal thunderstorm that it could potentially flood out and potentially impact our residents right here in Ocean County.
Right. So the whole Jonas thing. I'm sorry. I thought Chris Christie said there was no problem there, so I thought that was the truth. So you're saying that some people did have problems with that.
We did have problems in New Jersey. Absolutely, we did.
Okay, good. I take everything at face value from our great governor. So if he says there's no issue, I just go back about my business and figure it's okay. All right. So we got a kind of the 30,000 foot overview of the American Red Cross. Nancy, how did you get involved with the Red Cross?
I actually came to the Red Cross almost 15 years ago. I was working in a field that was dealing with folks who were trying to lose weight. And it was great because you really were making a difference in their lives, really helping coach them through some really difficult moments. And then 9/11 hit. And I said, wow, there's something much bigger than this, and I can take this ability to make a difference and take it to someplace where that impact is even broader. And of course, I looked to the Red Cross, and they happened to be hiring. And the job that they were hiring for at that time was in their biomedical services. So another thing that folks are usually used to hearing for Red Cross is blood donations. And I was responsible for, I started in Monmouth and Ocean counties, and I was responsible for making sure that we were able to set up blood drives, so companies, churches, and then making sure that folks actually came out and donated blood, because oftentimes we hear, you don't need my blood, but the reality is only 10% of folks that are able to donate actually do, which is very scary when you think about that, because if we were to leave here today and, gosh forbid, we got into an accident, it's the blood that folks donated days ago that we're going to use today.
Okay. So I got fixated a little bit on the weight loss thing. I'm not going to lie. So what did you do 15 years ago in weight? Like what did you do specifically in weight loss?
So we actually we were part of a group that actually sold weight loss products. Not that are here today. However, what we did do was we counseled folks. So they would come in and we would go over their eating plan, and we would help them determine what was best for them to eat, what they probably shouldn't eat to get the results that they wanted. And I have to tell you, there's a lot of success stories there, but then there's also some stories where, folks continue to struggle with that particular program. Sure.
So you were doing like isogenics, not exactly isogenics, but you were doing that before it was like hip to do isogenics.
Very much
right?
so, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Sorry, so I used to run health clubs. So I understand that. And, everybody looks at me and says, wait, I don't get it, Jeremy. And then I say, of course, I was the before picture. And then everybody kind of figures it out. So, all right. So then 9/11 hit, and you're like, I got to do something else.
Yeah.
You have to help somehow.
Yep,
right?
exactly.
And I guess that you were also, I'm going to guess that at the time you were also feeling like maybe this is, the weight loss thing, it's kind of run its course for me. I need to find, we like to figure out where people's aha moment is that they decide that they want to kind of, go and save the world kind of thing. And that was yours.
Yeah, my aha moment, truthfully, was I had clients that were still trying to lose their same 5 pounds. And then I had clients that had lost friends and relatives. And I thought, you know what, I can help, but in a bigger way.
Right. And so suddenly the 5 pounds didn't mean quite as much. Yeah, I understand. That makes total sense. And so now, so when we say the Red Cross of the Jersey Coast, where do you guys span?
So we cover both Monmouth and Ocean counties.
Okay.
Both here, we have an office right here locally, small office here in Toms River, and our headquarters is in Tinton Falls.
Okay. And that's considered that's the Jersey Coast.
That's the Jersey Coast chapter.
All right.
Yes.
And you don't get a tough time from those in like Cape May and Atlantic County who are like, wait, we're the Jersey Coast too.
We're all the Jersey Shore, right? So.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
I see what you do. All right. I just happen to be going through that conversation with another organization right now as we look at names and things like that. So, okay, very interesting. All right. So when we come back, what I want to talk to you about is I really want to kind of dive into some of the programs. I know you do a lot with disaster services, right, which we've talked about. But I think really what I think is going to be very interesting, especially to our listeners, is around what you do for the armed forces. Right. We mentioned blood services, and I'd also like to I'd like to get a little bit into health and safety services, because I think that's kind of an area that folks don't think about so much. So I'd like to really kind of dig into those two, the health and safety and service to the armed forces. Is that okay?
Sounds great.
All right. That's great. We are here with Nancy Orlando, Executive Director, Jersey Coast Red Cross. Be right back after this.
Wake up with Jeremy Grunin wherever you go. Download the Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Now, back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 and WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I'm here with Nancy Orlando, Executive Director of the Jersey Coast Red Cross, and we kind of glanced over blood services, but that's really important here in Ocean County, among other areas. So why don't you talk a little more about the importance there?
So actually, it's really interesting. Believe it or not, most folks are very often surprised to find out that the number one user of a blood product is actually a cancer patient. And those treatments are actually crucial for them to be able to get through their chemotherapy treatments as well and give them the opportunity to heal. So unfortunately, particularly here in New Jersey, most oftentimes folks won't donate because they think that their blood's not needed.
Right.
And that's such a misconception because truthfully, every 2 seconds someone needs blood. And if you do have a loved one or a child, or gosh forbid you get into a car accident, you're going to hope that somebody here in the area had donated a few days before to make sure that that product is on the shelf today when you need it the most.
Wow, that's great. And I'm embarrassed to say that my kids, I guess, in school were learning about about blood, and I guess they take some kind of class where they teach them about that. Who knows?
They do.
So they asked me what my blood type was. No idea. Not a clue. No clue. And is that everybody should know that, right? I mean, that's kind of important.
Well, actually, when you donate blood, it can actually tell you what your blood type is.
So that may be a good reason just for me even to donate, just so I could learn that, go back to my kids and show them that I was really paying attention to when they asked me.
Absolutely. You actually get a mini physical. So your temperature's taken, your blood pressure's taken. They're going to check iron levels for women. So you're really getting a little checkup in the process of being able to do something great for someone who needs it.
You wouldn't check my iron level?
Well, you're going to get your iron level checked, but it's not necessarily going to impact you so much as it would your wife.
All right, I was just curious. I felt like I was being persecuted on some level. All right, let's talk about about what you guys do for the armed forces, because we are, as we know, we are the largest veteran population in the country here in Ocean County, for obvious reasons. Have the Joint Base is a major partner of ours in the county. So what is the American Red Cross? What's the affiliation with the armed forces? So
people are usually so surprised to find out that we actually do anything for the armed forces. And we will tell you that we are so incredibly proud to be able to serve them. So one of the things that we provide is emergency communications. And I don't know if you knew this yourself, but if someone is deployed overseas and something happens at home, so let's say someone has a wife that's expecting a baby any day, or someone has a family member, mother, father, that becomes suddenly ill, the Red Cross is the one that will communicate with headquarters to make sure that they communicate to that commander that this particular serviceman or woman has a need, then we need to get them to come home. And then we can help facilitate that trip home to make sure that they get to see the birth of that baby, or perhaps maybe say goodbye to a loved one that necessarily they would have had to do.
Well, so now we're getting back to the whole Florence Nightingale thing. Now that's kind of, although this is like Florence Nightingale, like 2016 version, because the whole communication network, the worldwide communication network, is I wouldn't have put that together. So wow, listen, Nancy, you're teaching me a lot of stuff this morning. I'm not gonna lie, my head is feeling a little swollen at this point from all the knowledge that I'm trying to dump in there. So I may have to watch this on YouTube again later on today. So let's get to health and safety services, right? So you teach people CPR, AED, et cetera, et cetera. Where do you do that?
We are all over the community. You can sign up for a community class. You just put in your zip code, redcross.org, and you can find a class in your area. We also work with employers to make sure that they can actually bring that to their workplace. So we're very easy to get to. You can find someplace close to home, close to work. You can actually set up a class yourself if you need to. But I think it's so important that people get trained, because can you imagine going out to lunch today and you're at your favorite restaurant, you're having your favorite meal, and suddenly you begin to choke? You're going to want to hope that somebody in that place is particularly Red Cross trained so that they can make sure that you're taken care of.
Well, so it's funny you say that, because I have lunch today with Ken Malagier from Narcissus Flowers, one of my best friends in the whole wide world. And sometimes he hosts the show. In fact, next week he'll be hosting Monday's show. And, Kenny and I had the conversation before we went out. I told him, I said, I have a feeling Sunday night's going to be a late night for me. Monday I'm going to be tired. I don't know that my eating and digesting skills are going to be on point. So can you please just let me know, are you certified in mouth to mouth, et cetera? He is. So I feel good that that I'm covered for lunch today. But thanks for checking up on me, Nancy. I really appreciate it.
You got it.
Should he have a card?
Are you trained?
Should he have a card that he should be able to show me? There's a card, right?
I think at the time you're not going to be worried too much about the card. I think you're going to want to make sure he knows what he's doing.
Well, I would pre-screen. And Nancy, I told you. You ask if I'm trained. Yes, I've been trained like at least 7 times on everything. Like I dominate with recessive Annie. Like I bring her back to life every time. Like I am holding her nose. I am taking those deep breaths. I am compressing on the chest. I got this nailed, and I'm going to tell you that I'm going to tell anyone who is having lunch with me, breakfast with me, or anything, God forbid something happens to you while you're with me, I am running for the hills. I will scream at the top of my lungs. I will try to get you help, but it will not be from me. I'm just letting you know I'm not good at this. This is not. I have the flight mechanism.
But you can call 911.
I would absolutely. I am quick on the cell phone. We have so much more to talk about with Nancy Orlando, Executive Director of the Jersey Coast Red Cross. Please stay tuned because we're going to hear what Nancy would do with her magic wand. Be right back after this.
Coming up next, the latest from WOBM News, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. It's 7:34. It's 45 degrees, getting up to 65 and rainy today, Monday, March 28th. We're here at WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are joined by Nancy Orlando, Executive Director of the Jersey Coast Red Cross. Nancy, what events, what kind of programs, what's like hot right now that we should be aware of at the Red Cross?
I would say preparedness right now. Actually, a lot of folks don't know that we are currently working on reducing deaths by home fires. Folks see us show up all the time at the time of a disaster, but we really want to help have reduction in injuries and deaths due to home fires. So we're asking folks to get involved with us, learn preparedness tips, make sure that you have a smoke alarm, make sure that it has batteries in it. We all have them on our wall, but how many of us have actually checked the batteries to make sure they're working? Make sure you have a family plan. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning and that goes off, does everyone know what they need to do? Who's going to get the kids? Who's going to make sure that there's a meeting point? Who are we going to call? So I would really encourage folks to really get better prepared. We're storm system coming June 1, we've got hurricane season. I can't believe I'm even saying that. But, do you have a plan? Does your family know what to do?
Right.
So really get prepared.
Yeah, and, it's funny because it's not funny. It's sad, actually. But after every disaster, I'm pretty sure the same thing happens, right? Which is a community says, oh, my God, we can't have this happen again. We need a plan. We need a plan. We need a plan. We need to work on things. We need to work on things. And that happens for 6 months, right? And then all of a sudden it's over. And away we go again. It's kind of like the same with terrorist threats. It becomes a hot topic for a short term, and then we forget about it, and then God forbid it happens again, and we're just not prepared. So that is certainly sage advice. Anything else that you have on the agenda that we should be aware of? I know you said that we have preparedness there. There was one other thing I thought you mentioned. Maybe not. Maybe I'm hearing things. I do hear voices sometimes.
You do, yo.
Yeah, so we'll move along because it's probably one of those voices. I said stop talking to me. Can you tell us now the big question, really what everybody wants to know, and they're texting me, they're calling me, you didn't even hear it. They want to know what would Nancy do with a magic wand if she had the ability to impact one thing, to change one thing without needing the approval of the Senate, the Congress, Barack Obama, or Donald Trump. What would you do?
I would say that help folks understand that the need is now and the need is constant. Again, when we talked about before, all nonprofits have great missions that they're trying to accomplish, but they can't do it without the supporters. And that means truly that they've got to have folks that are engaged, that are involved, that are volunteering, that are supporting through financial donations. And that never stops. It just never stops.
Right. Well, that's, again, a great point. And one other question for you that's been bugging me now for at least the last 20 minutes or so. So when you're with someone, right, and you're helping them, that they're just gone through a disaster of some kind, and you're there for them. Do you ever have the urge to say, listen, do you have any need to lose that extra 5 or 10 pounds?
Never.
Never happens.
Never.
You're never talking fitness.
It's never about
you're never talking weight goals after that. You never revert back into the old Nancy and say, listen, let's talk about your fitness goals.
That door is closed.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure because that would be very off-putting, I think. So it's good that you've suppressed those those inclinations that had previously, I'm sure, consumed you. Nancy, where would folks go to learn more about the Red Cross of the Jersey Coast?
Super easy. All you need to do is go to redcross.org. You can find out more about our programs. You can find out about ways to volunteer, how to donate blood, or how to make a financial donation.
Okay. And I'll tell you what, we have learned so much. I just want to do a quick wrap up for you. Okay. We learned, of course, that the Red Cross is more than just being on the battlefield and helping our wounded. We learned that they are actually the communication source for our men deployed overseas, our men and women deployed overseas. That they're the ones who help the armed forces with communication and otherwise. We learned that they are working on health and wellness through CPR programs, through all kinds of training there. We learned that every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. Who knew that? Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. Did you know that, Zach?
I had no idea.
No idea, right?
No.
You probably would have said like every 8 or 9 seconds would have been your guess if I were.
Probably not even that close.
You wouldn't have even gotten that, right?
No.
So the American Red Cross is all about that. And we learned that there are 70,000 events per year, right? Like some kind of catastrophic events. 60,000 of them are home fires, right? And the American Red Cross is on the scene for those, right? So, wow, we learned a lot. And we learned that Nancy's moment, her epiphany came when she realized on 9/11 that there was more to life than just losing weight, right? Which I'm down with, right? I'm totally with you, especially the way I ate this weekend. Nancy, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me, Jeremy. I appreciate it.
We learned a lot, and can you please come back when you got some other stuff to talk about? Hopefully, it won't be about a catastrophe or anything like that, though, right? We can just talk about maybe we could do like a preparedness workshop.
We could.
That would be cool.
We could.
Nancy Orlando, Executive Director of the Jersey Coast Red Cross. More Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin back after this.
Rush Limbaugh today at noon. More Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin coming up next. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.